Hi. Anyway, this is my first video for this space available. If I sound bad, I've been kind of sick the last few days, so I apologize. But I just wanted to do a video, and this is my buddy Felix here. He's probably not happy about being in this video. Um, I wanted to do a little video with basically my suggestions for Christmas 2012. If you'd like to buy anything for yourself, or if you know somebody who's into space stuff, some things that might be some really good ideas that they might actually like. There's some neat things to look at. First thing I'd like to talk about is, of course, space books. There are so many of them that are really awesome. I'm searching for something on my phone right now. Of course, whenever I search for something, I can't find it when I'm on camera. Okay, there's this nifty little thing that's come out in the last few years. Um, if you have it, it's called Kindle. Some of you may have heard of it. They have the Kindle device, and if you have like an iPhone or something like that, you can download it on an iPad or something like that. It's a free app, I think. Yeah, I think it's free. There's a lot of neat little books, space books, you can get on Kindle. Right now I'm reading Paco, which is a Kindle single by Homer Hickam, who did a Rocket Boys and October Sky and all that stuff. So I've already read this. It's really good. Um, it's really cute. If you like cats and you like space, you'll really be into that. So let me just show you all the space books I recommend. Of course, I recommend any. I could read any space book, but here are some of my favorites. If you haven't read them yet, you may want to invest in them. First one is Moonwalker by Charlie Duke. I don't know if this is going to show up backwards as a video, it might, but it is Moonwalker by Charlie Duke. This is a really awesome book. Don't really have anything to say about it. It's kind of at the end he talks about becoming born again and things like that, and I think it's a really neat perspective on what happened to somebody's life when they came back from that kind of experience. So I think it's a wonderful book, and of course Charlie's awesome. So this is a different kind of book talking about someone's experience when they came back, but I think it's pretty awesome. I have a feather boa here. No, don't leave, Felix. This is Carrying the Fire by Michael Collins. This book is really funny. This book runs the gamut of emotions. In my opinion, this is probably my favorite astronaut autobiography of all time because it's got everything. It's hilarious. It's heartbreaking. He rates his fellow astronaut friends, which I think is hilarious. Like I thought that was awesome that he talked so frankly about them. So I really recommend this book. If you haven't read this yet, if you're a space buff, you've read it. You've already read this book. But if you haven't read it yet for some reason, you've got to get this for Christmas. It's amazing. It's an awesome book. I highly recommend this. Like I said, it's probably my favorite astronaut autobiography of all time. It's awesome. You got to get it. Okay? All right. There's another book. I got it. This one came out very recently. It came out in September. It's gotten mixed reviews since it's gotten out. There are some things, I have to be honest, there are things in it that are factually not correct. But however, if you're a space buff, as I am, you will be interested in reading this. It's John Young's book, Forever Young. It's his autobiography with James Hansen, who did the Neil Armstrong book, which I also recommend is a good read. I have that somewhere. I don't know where I got that, where I have that in the house. But this just came out. I think it's pretty good. It's actually, I think it's funny because when you read it, if you know anything about John Young, you'll read it in his voice. Also, he talks, there's some revelations about his life that I didn't know about before, and he talks about Gus Grissom, which is awesome. So I think that's well worth the price of the book. It's gotten mixed reviews, but personally I like it. And you gotta, come on, it's well worth the price for, where's my favorite picture in this book? Hold on, let me look for it. Come on, it's got John Young, it's got Rotsy John Young. You have to buy this book, okay? You just don't have a choice. You're gonna buy it for Christmas now, okay? Um, Next book that I recommend, um, if you haven't read if you're a space buff, like I said, you've probably already read this, but this is an awesome book. It's called "It's Last Man on the Moon" by Gene Cernan. Um, if Carrying the Fire is probably the best astronaut autobiography, this is probably the most crazy one. He cusses a lot in this book. He doesn't mince words on certain people he does not care for in this book. It's by Gene Cernan, who was the last man on the moon. Yeah, but it's a pretty funny. It's a good book. It's very good, but I thought it was pretty hilarious. There's some hot mess moments in it, to say the least. So yeah, you gotta get that. There's a few other books like the Neil Armstrong biography by James Hansen, First Man. I recommend that too. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere in my apartment. Um, Another book, if you're into Skylab, is Homesteading Space. It was written by I think it was co-written by Owen Garriott and Joe Kerwin, who are on Skylab. And that I don't know where that is in my apartment, but it's also a really awesome book. It's got Alan Bean's diary in it, so it's pretty much the cutest thing ever. Here's another book which I really recommend. I don't know how many people have read it, but it's written by Charles Borland and Gregory. I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly. If I'm not, please forgive me. Bout. If I'm not saying it right, somebody send me an email and yell at me. That's fine. But it's the Astronaut's Cookbook, which basically has tales, recipes. It kind of runs the gamut of food for astronauts from the beginning to Space Shuttle and ISS. And it's a really cool book. There's some funny stories in it. It talks about the corned beef sandwich incident for Gemini 3. So it's pretty awesome. So you got to get this one. If you haven't read this one yet, you've got to get it. It's pretty good. Okay, the last book I'm going to talk about, I've written a whole blog post about this book, but I can't say enough about it. This book is, this, I'll talk more about it in a second. It's Falling to Earth by Al Worden and Francis French. I've written a blog post about it before. This book was it's hilarious. There's parts in it that I literally screamed at. Like, I was literally screaming at the book the whole time. I've never had a reaction to a space book like that before. I'm not going to spoil it for you if you haven't read it yet, but you got to read it. I've been reading space books since I was like, knee high to a grasshopper, and I've never screamed at a book before. So, yeah, you got to read this one if you haven't read it. Worden and French did a really awesome job with this book, and I think it should have come out probably 30 years ago. But still, if you haven't read this one, you gotta get it. That's all there is to it. Enough said. I'm not gonna spoil it. All right. Okay. More space stuff. I've talked about this too extensively. Retro Space Images. Here's one of their discs, the Gemini 4 disc. I have a couple other discs too. If you know anybody who's into space images or space anything, these discs are fantastic. You got to get them. They're wonderful. They contain a lot of wonderful high resolution images of pictures from. He's got Mercury collections, Gemini collections, Apollo, Skylab shuttle, you name it. So it's got everything. So those are wonderful things to think about. Other things I can think about at hand that people who are into space might be interested in is if you get, I don't know if they do gift memberships, but if you join the National Space Society, you get this magazine called Ad Astra. Here's the latest edition of it. It's pretty nice. So that's something else, you may want to think about. And I think you can join for as low as like $20. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, somebody please message me or email me or whatever to correct me about that. But the NSS it's a pretty good organization. It goes to a good cause. And plus, you get the really nice magazine that goes with it. Also, this is free. I think you can get a free subscription to this, but the Red Bulletin, I don't. It's got a. It does discuss some space things. It's got a Felix Baumgartner on the cover. Hey, I said his name right. So that's this was free though. Might be something people might be interested in. I know I'm forgetting probably a ton of things people could be interested in who like space stuff, but those are the top things I can think of off the top of my head that people who are into space flight might be interested in for Christmas. So those are things to think about, and I've tested all of them, so it's coming from my personal knowledge about it, and also I'd like to say I bought everything by myself, so everything's nobody paid me to do this video or anything. Just like to put that out there. These are things I have used on a regular basis, just to be ethical about it. So anyway, I hope you like this stupid dorky video, but those are my recommendations for things to get for Christmas. All right, thank you. Have a good night and all that.